Hey everyone, thanks for joining this episode of SpringPath Podcast. Coming to us from Southern Connecticut State University, a returning guest, Nilvio Perez. Nilvio, how's it going, buddy?
It's going well. Thanks for having me on again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I think we had a great turnout last time. We had a lot of kids that were focused and learning more about the campus, but it's almost been like 2 years, so a lot's happened, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of good things happening here at Southern. Just to refresh the audience in memory, we are, one of the state options here in Connecticut, located in New Haven. We're a medium-sized school, so about 9,000 students total. We have over 250 programs that students can kind of pursue, and they're housed in 4 different schools. We have a College of Education, a College of Health and Human Services, a College of Arts and Sciences, and a School of Business. But we also have a really unique exploratory program for those students who are kind of either unsure what major career they want to pursue, or they're the opposite. They have tons of careers that they want to pursue. The exploratory program is a really good option for those students as well, to be able to really make assessments on what's the best path for them and get into those majors as quickly as possible.
Yeah, no, you have a ton of options, and you've been with Southern for how long? How long have you been there?
Yeah, so I've been the director of first year admissions here since 2021, and I really enjoy our campus. I love our location. It's a really great place to be.
And for anyone who's listening or watching locally, if you haven't seen Nilvio, he grinds, man. He's out at all the college fairs. He visits as many places he can. I think last time we talked, you were down in Long Island giving a speech on just the financial planning. Like, you're like a diehard admissions guy. I love it. Like, you're out there.
Yeah, it's fun. I think it's the most exciting aspect of what I get to do, to inform students and parents about the process. And to be honest, in higher ed, we don't make it really easy. There's a lot of deadlines. There's a lot of pressure to pick the right school, what classes to take. And this process should be a really enjoyable one. I should also mention that I'm a father of 2 kids who have gone through the process. So I've learned a lot going through it as a parent, when I thought I knew it all as an administrator.
Oh yeah, I have 3 kids myself. 2 of them are teenagers now, so my oldest is going through the process now. So yeah, it's weird. I would assume I talk to parents who have multiple kids, and if there's like a 2-year to 3-year gap, so much changes even in that time frame from the last time you did it. So you always have to be on your toes.
Yeah, that's very accurate. You do. So much is changing from year to year. So that's why it's great to be asked to come back and kind of update everything on what's happening, what's new, and also, what's changed.
Yeah. So let's start with some of the basics. So you're head of first year admissions. You've been there doing this for years, and there's a lot changing. The campus is still, doesn't really move, but it's in New Haven. Let's talk a little bit, let's talk high level. Let's talk about the campus location, like just some of the surrounding things that are available to students who attend. Because listen, I love pizza, and New Haven's like it's got, I think, 3 pizza places are in the top 8 in the country. It's crazy. It's something like that. But Pepe's and Sally's. Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't heard, we were actually named the pizza capital of the United States. So New Haven most certainly has a great reputation for pizza. But our location here is very unique in terms of our state, because we are a true college city. There are 5 universities, including us, that call New Haven home. And why that's important for a college student is you have access to things in a college city that you can't find when you're a little bit more secluded. You have opportunities to really build relationships with students from different areas, different parts of the country, different parts of the world, pursuing different majors and programs. You have opportunities to really create a really strong professional portfolio with access to internships and career development. New Haven's really great with philanthropy work. So if you wanted to build your leadership portfolio, you have opportunities to do community service, pursue your passions in the arts, And it's a really great place logistically. New Haven is a transportation hub. We have an airport,
Yes.
a bus terminal, train station, bus access. And one of the nice things about being a Southern student is that you get a pass, which we call the U Pass, which allows you to take public transportation in the entire state for free. So you get to really explore. It is an amazing place. And every single year on our campus, we do a pizza competition. So you get some free pizza and you get to rate which one you think is the best. Last year, Modern actually won the competition. So you just have some really unique perspective being in a college city, and we're really lucky to be here in New Haven, and our students are afforded the opportunity to really grow in a lot of different ways, not just academically or career wise, but professionally. They grow socially. They really build confidence, and they really grow as leaders.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I can kind of back that up with, I spoke with a student not too long ago who was in New Haven and was part of an incubator program for innovation and tech. So you just like, obviously you have the campus, the school and everything you're providing, and then the surrounding schools, but then you have these groups that are just in the city looking for young entrepreneurs coming out, and they have these incubator programs, which was very successful for him. He was very excited last time I spoke with him. And then, and also you're on the shoreline, so you have access to beaches. You're only like an hour and a half, 2 hours from the city of New York. Like, there's just a lot of amenities that make it a fun town.
Yeah, the incubator is awesome. There's also something called College 101, which is a biology and chemistry incubator for students looking to pursue like pharmaceutical work or going into a professional program like medicine or dentistry or vet sciences. So a lot of really cool initiatives here. And yes, access to great state parks, beaches, not too far away from Boston or New York City. So it's a great location. It's a really great. And even, those students who want like the winter sports, you can get to some reasonable ski places within an hour of our campus. It's just a great location. It's a really good area in Connecticut to kind of be a college student and to explore. I concur with everything you had just said, Mike.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity. So I think I'm gonna switch gears a little bit here. The last time we talked, there was some campus. You were expanding the campus. You were building a couple buildings, one for Health and Human Services, and I remember last time the ribbon cutting was coming up, but that was almost 2 years ago. And then you also had the School of Business. Can you talk a little bit about how the campus is growing and what those new buildings mean to incoming freshmen?
Yeah. Well, I'll start with the College of Health and Human Services. That is a very intentionally community-based building. And one of the things that we really love about that building is that students who are in the College of Health and Human Services have a very interdisciplinary experience. Because if you think of health and human services, you're not just a social worker. You're not just a nurse.
Right.
You're not just an athletic trainer. You really have to have an understanding of how people behave, how they work, and how you can connect with them to really improve whatever aspect of their lives they're looking to improve. So that's one of the really great things about our building is that our students are not just isolated in one wing of the building. They're working with each other throughout the entire building. And we have state-of-the-art technology, laboratories, facilities within the building. In addition to that, we've opened it up for it to be community based. So we have members of our community here in the New Haven region that come and utilize it for their own health needs. Students who may have, or people who may have a auditory issue, a speech issue, they can actually come to our center. And our students are working with them and assisting them even before they earn their degrees, which is really valuable in terms of getting credentialed, but also getting a great job after you graduate. So there's a lot of different things like that happening through the athletic training program and our recreational therapy program, all the way to our nursing program. Students are really having a lived experience. In the School of Business, our students are utilizing that building in a lot of different ways. There's small areas where they can do team projects. They can meet with faculty. It's really designed really well for it to be a space where students can really explore any aspect of business, work on their presentation skills, work on their resume building, work on being creative and having new ideas, and then also really work on finance and data analytics and those kind of things as well. We have a Bloomberg terminal that is utilized really often. Yeah. It's a wonderful building. It's also a building that is a net zero in terms of its energy production. So it's something that's given back to the environment as well. So a lot of great spaces for our students to utilize. One of the really nice things that we have is kind of like a room for pitch meetings where you can pitch your idea and really get some great support financially, but also some great mentorship as these young new entrepreneurs are coming into our local economy here. So it's a great building as well that's utilized in a lot of different ways. And then I'll be remiss not to talk about the other two colleges as well. So our College of Arts and Sciences, great spaces also. The new academic science building is really great with our labs, but we actually have the only public nanotechnology lab on our campus. So
how is this the first I'm hearing about this?
Yeah, it's great, right? So there's a lot of great things happening at Southern that I almost can't always remember everything that's happening. But so we have students from all public colleges and universities, including UConn, coming to use our lab, right? So it's a really cool thing. And then our College of Education, the building may not be as new, but over the last academic year, we've had more teachers and administrators in our state that have graduated from Southern earn a award. So Teacher of the Year, Administrator of the Year, Principal of the Year, all those people have a Southern degree. So the value of that College of Education degree is being lived and reinforced as people continue to get acknowledged for the great work they're doing in our schools here in Connecticut.
Yeah, without a doubt. And what I will add to that is, I did do an episode with Sandy a little while back when the ribbon ceremony was happening. So when she was talking about the investment in the technology and what the kids would have access to, or the students would have access to, one of the things she also talked about was just the level of resources you hired to teach these students. So like the investment was not just the building and the equipment, the investment was in the people. And she talked about, they did a lot of research, they reached out, they were hiring like key resources to teach, but also that whole hands-on experience. So it's not like the kids are fumbling around in the dark with a broken flashlight. You actually have the guidance and the resources that, make them awesome. So yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. Sandy, along with all of our deans, are really intentional in terms of making sure that the right people are supporting our students. That includes faculty, that includes advisors, that includes career professionals. And it's really important that those people are not just student focused and student centered, but are knowledgeable in how can we get our students to their degrees, to their credentials, so that they can be very successful within their careers.
Yeah, and I think you're proving the whole model out, because as you were saying, you're now seeing the benefits on the education side, where you have people who are winning awards and they're coming out of Southern, and that kind of segues into something recently that you and I were just talking about. So Research 1 and Research 2, you just established as Southern, you just established Research 2 for PhD credential level. And so for those who don't know what that is, can you give a little background?
Yeah, so we're really excited to be given the Research 2 designation here. Research on campus is a vital aspect to keeping the campus vibrant, keeping our students informed, and also giving back to not just the local region here, but the state, and then sometimes national and international places. So the way the Research 1-2 designation really is applied, it works off of, there's a lot of parameters, but one of the biggest ones is how many doctoral level programs you offer. So we are in the category where we would be a research 2 and not a research 1 because of the amount that we have. But research 2 at a school like Southern is incredibly important, and I would argue really valuable, because undergraduate students now have a little bit more access to some of those research projects.
Sure.
Larger schools have so many graduate students, doctoral students, master students, that their undergraduate students may not have the access that a medium-sized school like us will. So you can have a student who's in the STEM discipline, really focusing on research. Now they have access to a cool project that's happening on our campus, and they don't have to go searching for it. So I think our entire campus community is going to benefit, but I think undergraduate students here will see the fruits of that more so than maybe at a larger institution.
Yeah, and yeah, just kind of talking about this topic, like, so my understanding of it is, maybe there's one or two or less than a handful of schools that are like a research 1 facility, big campus, big schools. They have all these research capabilities and labs that the kids can get into and work with. But when you're looking for a doctoral, degree, and you're at a mid-sized school, you actually have to leave your campus to go find those things. So the fact that you've kind of achieved this, not only are you, helping the kids in your school, but now other campuses are coming to you guys, right?
Yes. Yeah. We are the only research 2 institution in the state of Connecticut. So we're really proud of that fact. Yeah. But yes, we are now going to be a hub of research and outcomes and best practices in a lot of different levels. And, we want to be that kind of leader when it comes to those type of things in all of our disciplines here at Southern.
Yeah. So that's I think it's just important to note, like, just the opportunity that's available there on campus now for not only the students enrolled at your school, but now you have surrounding schools with students that are going to be coming to you. So again, it breeds more opportunity, more networking. You get to meet more people when you go to Southern. So let me kind of dovetail into this. So you've got the new buildings. You've got, you're doing great with faculty teaching students. Now you've got research 2, only one in the States. So now you're going to have more kids coming to campus. All right, let's say I'm a freshman. I'm going to be a first-year student. I'm just learning about this stuff. This is going to be like drinking from a fire hose. There's a lot of stuff. How do you help someone who may be a little nervous, concerned, just learning about the school? Like, I land on campus day 1. Am I like, I'm going to be a deer in headlights? Like, where do I go? Where do I start?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Michael, because I think there's a lot of students who have that kind of hesitation, but they don't want other people to know that they're having like that they are going through some nerves or a little bit fearful of what they have to do. And then I think also as a parent, whether you've gone through the process or not, you have kind of like, oh God, okay, are they going to be okay? What do we need to do? Right. What do we need to know in order for them to be really comfortable and successful on these campuses? And I think one of the things that we try to do is, we've gone to a 2-day orientation model where students are here for 2 days. They sleep overnight. They are giving all of this information in a very intentional way. They leave with their resources, but they also meet their advisor. Every single first-year student has an advisor who is assigned to them, who's working with them in terms of what courses do you need to take in order to graduate? What does the map look like for you to stay on a 4-year track? When do you begin your internship? When do you begin your clinicals, your student teaching, your practicums? When do you do all of those different things? They meet with that person and they know who they are as they leave orientation. So when they come back for the start of the school, they already have a person that they can seek, find, and then they have meetings with this person throughout the fall semester. It continues as they go through the spring semester, but it's really, really heavy in the fall semester. They also receive an academic advisor. So the academic advisor is another resource that they go to in order to be able to make sure you're taking the right classes, more access to internships and other things like that. And then they have a first year experience course. The first year experience course teaches students how to be a college student, how to do research, how to cite papers. Where is the career center? Where's the financial literacy person? Where are the student clubs and organizations? How do you manage being a college student? Let's talk about your time management skills. Let's talk about your study habits. You have all of that in a very formal way. And then finally, we have an Office of Career Professional Development as well. That's really the whole wraparound support to talk about finding an on-campus job, talk about finding part-time work, talk about how to build your resume up, how to do interviewing skills, how to research job opportunities, and then, of course, how to go ahead and secure an interview and practice mock interviews as you go through the process. So I think from a making students feel comfortable, we do a really good job. But more importantly, college is an investment. And with any investment, you want the outcome to be really strong. So from a parental lens, we really try to do a good job of making sure that students are on pace to graduate timely, because tuition is expensive. And also when they graduate, they're doing something with their degree, right? They're pursuing their passions, and they're getting a strong opportunity to work in their careers. All of that begins immediately as they enroll in their first year. We don't have a model where they wait until junior year to do any of this stuff. Immediately, so that way they're building a really strong career professional portfolio over a 4-year window.
Yep, 100%. I think, just like my personal experience, and this was years and years ago when I went to college, many, many years ago, but I think that was kind of the missing link when I landed on campus at first, because I was that deer in headlights. I was like, okay, where do I start? I don't have mom, dad, there's nobody around to like guide me and show me what to do anymore. But having that first advisor, like, you don't really have to worry about figuring out the path. Someone's going to show you the path, which is what's a big difference now in how you guys approach it at Southern. And then I think the other key thing, like you were kind of touching on it, throughout the process, you're going to start plugging in, hey, here's where you can look for summer jobs, internships. When you get further along, here's how you get to full-time employment. And one of the things I think is great about your career center, because I've talked to a number of students who have been there, is just they start to focus on those soft skills that a lot of kids don't have, when they're getting ready to go into the workforce. So I don't know if you want to talk about that, but there's a lot that your team does to help them.
Oh yeah, it's funny you're saying you went to college a long time ago, and because when I tell my kids, yeah, I didn't have a cell phone when I was in college, you would have thought that I would tell them that I was like chiseling on rock, to do my assignments. So they look at me at like, oh, you're old, and I'm like, yeah, I am. But it is different, right? When we went to school, it was like 90% on us as the student to figure things out, and like 10% on the university, right? And now that's flipped. It's 90% the university providing so many resources and support, and 10% on the students. But I think the one thing that you mentioned about the soft skills is so important. Technology has been wonderful in terms of a lot of different things, but I think it's taken away from some of those soft skills that you learn while you're in lower grammar school, middle school, high school, that now has to be taught to you at the college level. And things such as how to respond to an email, how to workplace conflict, how to deal with that, how to notify someone if you're running late. These things that, for our generation, we think, of course you call somebody.
It's like a standard.
Late. Like what are you talking about, right? These are the things that our new generation coming up, I don't know what alpha, I think is what they're going to be called.
Oh, yeah.
But these are the things that they have not experienced much, right? So we're really intentional, and it's a constant evolution of what now gets added in these soft skills. how to write a thank you note after you do an interview, how to ask questions about different things. There's a lot of these kind of things that we took for granted when we were growing up that we now have to reteach to our new students and then current students and as they graduate. So I think the center does a really good job, and that's one of the reasons why we don't have one person assigned to a student, is because we want that student to experience a lot of different personalities, because inevitably when you're working, you're probably going to be working with a lot of different personalities, and how to work with that will make you a better professional.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I like that you said that, like you pointed out, like it's not just one person that you now get used to and you see them on a regular basis. You're actually, saying, hey, okay, now you have to go talk to this person to learn how to build your resume. Now go talk to this person to learn how to use LinkedIn and Indeed or whatever, ZipRecruiter. You're kind of teaching how to network and use those soft skills in a real life experience.
Yep. In addition to the business etiquette dinners that we still do, and how to dress for an interview, and what does casual really mean? Business casual really mean, right? So I mean, I remember one kid who came in and we're like, all right, we're gonna do business casual, and he's wearing a polo and basketball shorts, and he's like, he goes, I'm business casual.
Business.
Okay, all right. We're gonna have a talk. Let's talk about this. So, but it's one of the experience that if you don't explain it, and you make the assumption everyone knows what this means, you have situations like that. So it's a good learning lesson for myself as someone who's in a different generation, and knows what a term means, how to kind of explain that out. So there's a lot of opportunity here in New Haven to learn and to grow. And that's one of the great parts about being at Southern.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I just on a personal note, it was just funny you were talking. I had a conversation with my kid just last week, my 3 kids, and they were like, well, how did you talk to somebody in high school? I said, well, we passed notes. Like, that's how you, they're like, what? It just blew their mind.
It's funny, the different dynamics there. It's funny. And then, I don't know about your kids, but like my kids refuse to wear coats. They're like, all they want to do is wear a hoodie. And I'm like, are we not gonna, outside? I'm like, when I'm 70, are we not going to have coats anymore? Are coats going to go out of style? So these are the things I think about, as I watch this generation grow up.
Oh man, no, it's great. And you know what? I think you made an excellent point. Like back, years ago when I was going, it was 10% on the school, 90% on me to figure things out. But that was the culture. Like that's just the evolution of this. And now with the shifting dynamic, so focusing on those key points of, hey, okay, we can't make the assumption that everybody knows how to do these things. We have to let's go with the basics 101 and then get them out into the workforce. And kind of that may be an easy segue kind of for the parents that are listening. I know myself, we do a lot of surveys for parents and for students. We ask them questions about what they look for or want to know about a school. And one of the number 2, first one is from a parent, is my kid going to be safe? I'm sending my child, my baby off to a new campus, and we definitely cover that. Like safety is number 1. You guys, I know we talked about that on the last episode, but the second thing is, I love my kid. I just don't want them coming back home. Like, I don't want them living in my basement. Get them out into the workforce. So talk to me a little bit about maybe just some highlights on graduation rates and kind of job placement, anything you can share that, someone listening would be like, oh, that's great. It's good to know.
Yeah. Well, I know we talked about this in the last episode, but safety, I think, is a concern for all campuses, right? And we're lucky enough to be a state agency, so we actually have state police on our campus, and it's a community policing model. So they're just involved in everything. That way, they get to know the students, they get to talk to them, but they're there, in case there needs to be a presence. So we're really thankful to have great officers who are here, who are really committed to student success and safety.
I'll I'll just jump in there. Sorry, I mean to cut you off, but I'm just going to make a point that that's not new. This is like when I went to school at Southern or Central years ago, we had state police on campus. We knew them. They, so this has been, safety's been number one for campus for a long time.
And it's important, right? It's important. So, speaking as a parent, you want to make sure that your child's safe all the time. So, so I appreciate you bringing that up again, Michael. And in terms of the reality of not living in the basement, yes, right. I think when we send our children to college, there's an expectation that they're going to learn, they're going to mature, they're going to get a degree, and they're going to get a job, and they're going to have great, productive, happy lives, right? And that doesn't always work out the way maybe it was envisioned when a student started, changing majors, changing careers, doing different things. But we really are focused on making sure that our students graduate in a timely way. Sometimes students are taking a break or taking part-time loads because of different things. The cost of education really is a real thing. And sometimes doing part-time works with the family instead of doing full-time. But we're retaining about 82% of our first-year students coming back. We're graduating students in 6 years at about 60% of a clip. And then the last survey, the 2023 survey that came out, was about 88% of our students were either in graduate school or had a job in their discipline. So students are really taking advantage of what I talked about earlier in terms of the model of advising, having an advisor, career development, and then access to New Haven and doing a bunch of different things, taking advantage of all of that to really make themselves really strong candidates for great jobs when they graduate. And we're trying to be committed in terms of making it more affordable as well. We just signed that we will not be increasing tuition for the next 2 years. So we really want to make sure that we're conscious of the cost of the rising cost of education. And we've developed over 30 accelerated degree programs where students can get their bachelor's and master's in 5 years as opposed to 6 or 7 years. Again, because we want to make sure that students are not spending hundreds and $120,000 in loan debt.
Right.
We really want to make sure that it's affordable, that you get a quality education, that you're prepared to not just be a great contributor to your job that you have or your industry, but also to our society as well. So that's really the work that we're doing here at Southern. And time after time again, I hear of all these stories of students really having success after they graduate. And that's gets me excited. That's the reason why I go to Long Island to talk to juniors and to junior parents, and go to Massachusetts. And I was just in New Jersey on Monday, so that's the reason, is because I really believe in the work that we're doing here at Southern. And we were actually ranked in the top 25 for social mobility this past year. Social mobility is for those who may not know, is when you move from one income bracket to another. So we are really changing students' lives in which their earnings are being reflected positively.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. I mean, like I was saying in the beginning, if you haven't seen Nilvio out on the road, like he believes in this. Like I know you're true to form, and you're all over the place. So I guess what I would say is, for anyone who wanted to connect with you or had questions, we're going to drop your email in below, and then we'll put your contact information as well, so they can reach out to you at any point. But you can also just call the main number, get to admissions, and ask for Nilvio. He's available to you.
Yes. Michael, thank you so much. Yes, please email, call. And as I always say, even if it's not necessarily about Southern at the moment, if you just had questions about the admission process, please call. I'll be happy to be a resource to you and to the family, and give you the best guidance that I can.
You know what? I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to actually, we have, as you know, we have different how-to videos, just like financial planning, expectation. I'm gonna record one with you, because I loved your last presentation on like what to expect and how to plan, throughout because it's a journey. Like you really do have to plan that financial segment. So I'm gonna take you up on that. We're gonna do a how-to.
All right, wonderful. All right, everyone's heard it. Everyone heard it. So we got it.
That's good, man. Hey, thank you for coming out again. It's always great having you on, and we'll catch up with you soon. And for anyone who's listening, definitely you can come to SpringPath.net. You can kind of check out Southern on our platform, or just go directly to their website and ask for Nilvio. He's available for questions anytime. Thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure to have you.
All right.
All right. Take care.